Herbie Top. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Tyreek, how are you, man? Good to see you as always.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, same old, same old. Hey, yesterday, Frank Clark and Travis Kelce were talking about a need to remove the taste of the Super Bowl loss out of their mouth. A two-part question here for you. How difficult is that for you as an athlete? And second part of the question is, how much motivation is that giving you to get back to that game?
I mean, me personally, man. I mean, I can't speak for no one else on this team, but just like they said, like we still got that taste in our mouth, that bad sour taste, and we want to get back to what we got. But I mean, for me personally, man, it's the same mindset every year. You know, come out and help this team any way I can. You know, whether that's making plays, whether that's mentoring, whatever the case may be. You know, I'm just here for the team. You know, so I mean, obviously, I want to win. I want to have the stats. I want to do this, but whatever the team need, dog.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Tyreek. You're obviously,
hey, buddy.
How's it going? You're obviously the leader of the wide receiver room here now. Been here a couple of years. Sammy Watkins is no longer with the club. What's been the biggest difference without Watkins, and how do you think you guys managed to replace some of that production?
I mean, it's definitely going to be tough, you know, but I definitely feel like as the season go on, you know, guys will begin to fill that void, you know, that Sammy, you know, was filling. So, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, having Pat, having Kelce, you know, having a great offensive line definitely helps, you know, because you got other guys to mentor those guys. So, I mean, McCole has played, D-Rob has played, you know, in Super Bowls, Pringle. So, I mean, I feel like, I mean, we're going to be all right. Like, we've been playing football our whole entire lives, so it's nothing new for us, you know?
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Tyreek, good to see you.
What's up, man?
Hey, a couple of questions for you. One, first up, I know how hard you usually work during the off season on your own. What was your plan? What was your schedule like this year? And especially, you know, who are you working with now that I know that, you know, Coach Dub went to Baltimore and everything?
Well, for me, man, I mean, truth be told, like I really haven't been doing nothing this off season. You know, I really took this time to, you know, just spend time with my kids, you know, spend time, you know, with my family, you know, and just hang out. You know, I live in Florida now, so I just been doing that. You know, speaking of Coach Dub, hopefully I can get up with him sometime during this off season because they do get a break the same way, you know, the players get a break. So hopefully, you know, this next break that we get at the mandatory minicamp, you know, me and him can get together. I'm just waiting on my chance with him, man. You know.
Go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
I've got a couple questions here. First off, Tyreek, just generally speaking, what have you seen out of the rookie? You mentioned McCole and those guys. What do you think about Powell? What have you seen from him? You like the looks of him so far?
Yeah, he's definitely a smart kid. You know, I mean, me and him got similar things going for us. He was drafted in the fifth round. I was drafted in the fifth round. So, you know, I had a conversation with him, you know, telling him that, you know, when you come into like, if you want to play on this team, like it's a certain mindset, you know, like we all believe that, you know, we can dominate and be the best group in the league, you know, so he's definitely coming into a tough group, you know, who loves to compete and who loves to challenge each other. So, I mean, he's been looking sharp so far, you know, good, tough catcher, big hands, you know, silky in his routes. So he looks good so far.
And then you guys made the title game in 2018, won it all. Then ran it back, all that. You're starting to see some of the guys kind of go away, though. Sammy's gone, you know, Fisher and Schwartz aren't here. Do you start thinking about the longevity of the whole thing? Like maybe the whole core won't be around for a while as contracts start coming up and guys get older. Do you think at all about that side of it, that you guys may not all be together after a while?
Me personally, I don't think like that. You know, I just live in the moment. You know, I just live for now. You know, so I just enjoy what we got now, you know, so, and that's the group of guys that we got around us. You know, of course, Sammy, Eric, and all those other guys are going to be missed, but we got to look forward. You know, we got to look for the future, and the future is what Patrick Mahomes said, which is 20-0. So that's what we're aiming for.
Go next to Steve Walls. Good, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Tyreek?
What's up, man?
Not much. Just kind of what Todd was saying about just having that core, that group of guys that you guys have been playing together for a while. You know, Travis, Patrick, D-Rob, those guys. But how can you guys get better? I mean, because you guys have had a lot of success, going to the Super Bowl, then losing last year. But just what do you guys need to do to get better for this year?
I just honestly, like, every guy has to look in the mirror and just say, hey, what do I need to get better at? First of all, for me personally, I just got to keep the mindset, that I can dominate the whole season. Sometimes I feel like, I've arrived, instead of just like keeping that mumble mentality and pushing throughout the whole season, So that's just me personally. But as a group, like, I feel like we're great. Our bond is great on the field. Our bond is great off the field. So I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for other guys.
We'll go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Tyreek, I know it's early in the new transition of the coaching staff, but you've worked so long with Greg Lewis. What's it been like now to know Joe Blameyer a little bit more as being in the receiving room, and how may that help the group this season?
Oh, well, Joe is very different from G. Lou. G. Lou, he played ball, so, like, he's kind of a character. Joe is like a different ball game. Joe, he's a smart guy. He has all the facts about a route. Has the science behind it and stuff like that. But it's definitely cool, to get the other side, of football like that. So I'm learning a lot from Joe. He's a great coach. I think he'll be great during the season. He gets along with everybody, in our room. So, I mean, everyone in our room just wants to get better. So whatever it takes,
Ty, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, boss.
All right, guys. Chris Jones coming up next. Chris, do you hear us? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We'll get started first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Chris, most of the talk surrounding you recently has been your move out to playing a little bit more along the edge. I was curious what your thoughts are on that, some of the challenges that go into it, and why that's so attractive to you.
I came in the league originally a DN. I was just, unfortunately, we had guys that excelled at that level when I came in, as Justin Houston and D Ford. So, I waited my time, and thank God, finally happened for me.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
And speaking of that, Chris, when it comes to playing from the edge, especially with you and Frank, I know both of you guys like to play on the right side if you can. How does that work out? How much of that is you two working it out? How much of that is just the game plan, Spags and Daly working with you and figuring that out? And what specifically do you think benefits this team having you two guys opposite each other rather than alongside each other in the line?
Most importantly, I think it can create advantages on this defense along the line of scrimmage. Maybe we found an offensive lineman that we like to match up with me and Frank, or interior guys, and we are able to exchange gaps now. We're able to play left and right. So, it doesn't really matter to me about sides. Whatever Frank's comfortable with, I don't mind rushing left, right. I'll stand up and rush from the middle as a linebacker if I have to. So I'm just excited to learn this position, learn the drops, cover 3, cover 2 drops, man drops. So, I'm still learning and progressing well.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Chris, you talked a little bit about some of the techniques right there, but just the difference maybe overall. I know you're not in pads, but just what you're going to have to do differently to play DN versus inside where there's a lot more traffic.
Mainly for me, it's been lining up at a tight 5 rather than a loose 5. I've been really tight. It kind of reminds me of a 3-tech. So I got to get that adjusted, and I think I'm transitioning well. It takes a little time, but I think it's been very productive during OTAs and Veteran Minicamp, and we're going to try to transition to training camp and continue to improve.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Chris, just wanted to know why you feel like you'll be a more productive player on the edge as opposed to one of those interior positions.
Well, me personally, I feel like I can be productive inside, outside, just wherever the team puts me. I think there's more advantages on the outside because of the fact of you can't really double team. You can chip, but you're not really getting as many double teams as a 3-tech would in this defense. So I'm excited about that.
Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Question about two players, Jaron Reed, the addition of him, how you feel that you guys are working out a defensive line with him in the mix, and then also what do you see out of the rookie Josh Kane, though?
Josh Kane, though, reminds me a lot of Tano Capaccio. He's very long, very, very good athletic ability. He's versatile. I think that's a guy that in the future will be able to move around along this line. Once he gets his fundamentals down, he's a very good listener. He's a student of the game. Jaron Reed, been merely impressed with Jaron Reed, man. His work ethic is he got a really, really good work ethic. Ask a lot of questions, and I'm honored to work alongside a guy like Jaron Reed. With him being in the midst, I think it not only can help improve this line, but help improve this defense.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Nate and then Haley. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Chris, since we know this has been something that you've wanted for a long time, do you want a ratio that's 50-50 inside, outside, or is it just dependent upon the matchups and, like you said, how you and Frank are sort of working this thing out?
I haven't really thought that far into depth about it. I've just been trying to learn the schemes of the defense and the new adjustments I got to make. But for me personally, I just think that, whatever Spags think is best for this defense, I know him and Brandon Daly will put a game plan together week by week, and some weeks it may be heavy outside or heavy inside. So whatever game plan they have for me, I'm bought in to execute that, and I'm comfortable with it.
And we'll go last to Haley Lewis. Go ahead, Haley.
Hey, Chris, we just talked with Tyreek, who said he's right on board with Patrick Mahomes going for that 20-0 season. So wanted to ask you, are you buying into that as well? And has that been the mentality so far in minicamp?
Yeah, you got to set the bar high. You got to set the bar high, especially ending the season like we did. So, it's not just Pat and Tyreek. I think we're all bought into it. But, it's just focus on getting 1% better every day. We come in, we get 1% better every day and transitioning to training camp. And we take it to the first game of the season. And we're going to take it 1 week at a time. And then we'll see how it goes.
Chris, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. We got Clyde coming your way next. All right, guys, we got Clyde coming our way next. Oh, hold on. We're losing camera signal. Hang tight. Hey, there's Clyde. You hear us okay, Clyde?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right.
So I gotta change the speakers in here.
We'll get started. We'll start first with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam. Oh, hold on. Hold on one sec, Adam. We're losing video again. Yeah, it's coming in and out. We've got him back. I can see him now. All right, Adam, let's give this a shot. Go ahead.
Hey, Clyde, I had a couple things for you today. Are there things you're working on this off season in particular, as opposed to just sort of general improvement in your game? And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Hang tight, Clyde. We're having technical difficulties. This reminds me of back when we were kids watching PBS. This is going to make the outtakes. Hang tight, guys. One sec. Singing on the outtakes.
I thought my camera quality wasn't gonna be up to par.
Uh-oh.
All right, Clyde, I see you. I'm going to unmute you here. Luke, if you want to unmute him, we should get him going. There we go. You hear us okay, Clyde? Uh-oh, we don't have audio now.
Good.
Hey, I can hear you. I can't hear Clyde. Clyde, are you faking me out right now? Can you hear me, Clyde? All right, let's try this again. Adam, I think you're still off mute. If you want to fire away again.
Okay. Hey, Clyde, I was curious whether there were things you were working on in your game this offseason as opposed to just general improvement. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Yes, sir. Just the times that I was able to get out, just still, after the Super Bowl, just having the crazy hip and ankle injury that I had, trying to get back to 100% was my biggest thing. So, once I was able to get into that, get to 100%, then, working on my hands, catching. I wouldn't say it was a problem last year, but just understanding our offense. We moved the ball around, we spread the field, and why not work on something that I feel like I can improve on. So that was one of my steps as far as improvement.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about working on your hands. How did you do that? Would you have somebody throwing to you? Did you use a jugs gun? How'd you work on that?
Jugs, mainly, but just different angles of catching the jugs, just not 10 yards out and just straight ahead, just catching. So high balls, low balls, anything. I'm not the tallest guy, so just being able to have a wider catch radius for my height was kind of my thing. So expanding that. And I mean, as far as film or anything, any past college film, even last year, it was seen that I can catch. So, but just being able to work on it was one of my things this year.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Clyde, along those lines, just how much of a goal is it for you to be more involved in the passing game this year?
Everything is based off, the things that we install. And talking to Coach Reed and also Pat, there are things as far as, we're implementing to get the ball to the back and, just get the ball, spread it out more. So, that was one of the things on why I chose to work on my hands and just be more of a threat. It was seeing that I can run a ball between the tackles, outside. That was kind of, seen. So just being able to also get out and not just routes out the backfield, but also spread out in the slot position and also the outside wide out position. So just being able to expand my skill set was my thing.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Clyde, staying on theme here, it seems the Chiefs moved Greg Lewis to the running backs coach this season, 8 seasons in the NFL as a receiver. How has he helped as you're trying to develop those skills more for the pro level?
He brings in that receiving coaching aspect of, as far as the routes that we are implementing and putting in. So, just those little things that you don't get taught, from a running back coach, but you get it from a receivers coach. And then, also still having that, it's not like he hasn't been in the league 8 years and seen some good backs, and then, also coach some great receivers. So, he's kind of seen it all. And then with the help of EB also being around and being in the room, it still can get help from the running back standpoint. So everything is meshing and working well. So I'm loving it. And also, G. Lewis, who doesn't love G. Lewis?
Let's go next to Haley Lewis. Go ahead, Haley.
Hey, Clyde, just first off, want to clarify, would you say you're 100% back to full health? And then secondly, want to ask you about, last year having a virtual off season, this year you're actually in person, just how much better it is for you guys to be here on the field in person, and maybe how that differed for you, especially going into your rookie season.
Oh yeah, I would say, well, to answer your first question, yeah, I'm 100% healthy. And then, I would just say, feels like 2 different seasons. I was coming in, not knowing anything last year. So everybody was just kind of like having this perspective of, this is what it should be, or this is how it feels, or, that they were asking players who were in the league before. But, that was my first thing. Like I had my entire OTA season, pretty much off just to work out. And then we came in fall camp, and then I want to say like 2 weeks in, I was named the starter. So, I mean, as far as how much we were doing, Zooms and everything, it wasn't like I was behind on the actual plays, and I got drilled because everybody was telling me Coach Reed's, the playbook was outrageous, and I mean I went out there and I performed. That's why I got drafted where I did, and as far as my football IQ, he put me in a position because he knew that I would go out there and perform. So that was just it. But now just having this year to be able to go out there and just I miss football. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Having OTAs, everybody's kind of like, one way or the other, but just to be out there with the guys, man, this is what I do for a living. This is where I get my joy. So it felt good to be out there.
We got 4 more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Harold. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Clyde, simply put, what do you want to see out of your second season in the NFL that you can improve upon your first year?
Mainly, man, I would just say composure. And everybody can watch film and just, see what they see, but only know how you feel in that helmet and feel on the field. So it's going to be different. We're going to have fans, different as far as, switching plays, calling the audibles, everything. It's just going to be different. So composure is going to be a big thing, being able to kind of relearn, hearing in the stadium and everything else. It's, once that stadium's loud and that helmet is echoing, it's a little difficult to hear. So it's just kind of getting accustomed back to how things work.
Next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Clyde, I want to ask you about the other side of the ball, if I could, for a second. We talked to Chris Jones earlier. I just wonder if it's in the moment during these OTA minicamp practices or maybe watching the film of it, what's it like to see Chris on the edge, knowing what type of player he could be if a role is given to him that expands to that sort of side of the ball?
I mean, when as an offensive player, when you line up and you see 9-5, the thing is you want to try to figure out where he's going to go, or what's his plan. So, and that's just kind of his thing. When you have a guy of such magnitude on the defensive side of the ball, attempting to try to figure out where he's going to be going, trying to figure out his lineup adjustments and just any possible thing that you can to read his movements or read where he's going to be. That it goes to show you how much of an impact player he is. So, I mean, Chris Jones is Chris Jones. I mean, he's known and all over the place for a reason. He gets sacks and is that guy. And I know I learned that very quick last year. So it's one of those things, man. Chris Jones, from Chris to Tyron to Frank Clark, it's just one of those things. You just need to know where those guys are.
Last two, we'll go Soren and then Herbie. Go ahead, Soren.
Clyde, I remember talking to you last year about how the playbook, you had an extensive playbook at LSU, and maybe the stories of Andy Reid's playbook weren't swallowing you up like maybe it would some other guys. But was there anything out there now looking back on it a year in? I know guys usually say what you said about having that full off season to work out, but what else maybe surprised you or is bigger or faster or better or tougher or harder in the NFL now having been through it for a year?
It was the biggest thing was just kind of like the pre-snap, indications and pre-snap reads. And you probably go back and probably hear me say the same things in other interviews, but I feel like that was the biggest, that's going to be that's the biggest jump. That's where you need to learn pre-snap things and kind of understand, as far as from an offensive standpoint, reading the fronts and knowing if it's an odd, even front, 57 front, reading linebackers, knowing if it's going to be man, reading safeties, man zone. It's all that, kind of happens right before, we snap the ball. So, the better you can be at that, the better player you become, the more you understand your role and the more you understand, what the next guy is going to do. And, for me, from a pass protection standpoint and or runs, we make calls before we run the ball, that may switch up a blocking scheme. We also make calls before, before throwing the ball, which is sometimes implemented in the pass game and or, I'm blocking. So just knowing, what's being called, what's being switched up is those big things you need to learn.
We'll ask Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Clyde, I want to go back to all the earlier line of questions of you working on being a receiver out of the backfield. And to sort of piggyback off of what Pete was asking you about Greg Lewis, you mentioned how beneficial it is to have him in your ear. How much is he in your ear to potentially look at film of past running backs in Andy Reid's scheme or even running backs that you admire as receivers, and you're studying them as well?
That really wasn't his strong point as far as teaching. As he's hands-on, being on the field and every back is different. He can't sit there and tell me, go look at the way this guy did it. And, he might be 6'2", 230 pounds. So, I mean, you can teach some things from film, but I mean, I don't think, he went out his way to try to teach. It was a big thing when Cheetah, was coming into the league. How is he going to be? I don't think he was, saying go watch Julio film and try to go be like Julio. So, you be the player that you can be. I feel like I was a decent receiving back out of in college and just, using my skill set as being able to catch. That's just one of those things. So we were just kind of enhancing it. It wasn't like, I didn't do any receiver work in college, but as far as just kind of mind tapping me and getting me back in the swing of just, having that, it's like different little quick twitch muscles, different, coming out of routes, Not standing up and dropping down out of routes. It's just those little things that you do as a receiver that he's been teaching at the backs. So,
Clyde, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right, guys, that is it for today. I'll be right back if you have any questions. I want to give you a quick update on tomorrow, so give me 1 second here.